Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Bill Gallagher. Bill is a scale-up expert, business coach, keynote speaker, and a podcast host. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Bill Gallagher. Bill, welcome.
Hello, Mohammed.
Thank you so much. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
It's funny. So that sounds like distilling it down to one moment, but it's really a lifetime that brought me to this place. Truth is, when I was young, I thought maybe I would be an astronaut or an engineer or a scientist. And to end up as a teacher, a coach, a speaker, which is much more like my father, is a surprise.
What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when you're scaling up your business?
Well, so the top 3 mistakes I think are pretty straightforward. The first one is not looking in the mirror. The company that you have today is perfectly matched to who you've been so far as a leader. And so you could say you deserve the company you have and you have the company you deserve. If you want to implement things like scaling up in your business and start to grow, you also have to work on yourself. So that's the first one. The second one is really about the other people around you. Very often there are people that help you get started and get to this place, and they're no longer right for the place that you're at. They need to change jobs or move on to a different place. And we get attached to each other. So you've got to be willing to make some of the changes to the team around you as well as to yourself. And then I think the last piece is actually staying focused, right? Focused on what the business is, what you said you were going to do, the priorities, that kind of thing, and not getting distracted. Most of the people trying to scale their business are innovative, creative, visionary, idea monkey kind of people, and we tend to struggle with staying focused.
Wonderful. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
So in the aftermath of the 2001 downturn, I was not managing our business well. And our bank came to me and wanted to close the loan with us. And it put me in a position of having to close the business, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I suffered with that alone in my head, panicking for some weeks, but not telling anyone except my wife. And the mistake there was not going public with it, feeling like I had to have the answer. Before it was too late, though, I realized that instead of shutting the business and surrendering to the bank, I needed to fight and to set an example for my team and for my children about dealing with adversity face on rather than quitting and going away. So I went to the team and I said, listen, we're in trouble. And we have not a lot of options, and I don't have a good plan, but I'm going to fight. And so I'd like your help. And I asked them for their help, and I told them I understood if they couldn't help me, and they all helped me. And together we did what I couldn't figure out on my own. But it required me being vulnerable and open and honest with them. And together we actually produced a huge breakthrough over the next year. We worked out a settlement with the bank, and we produced a huge breakthrough in sales. And I mean, it was just extraordinary. And I think that I really learned the power of courage and vulnerability, of sharing yourself and not having to have all the answers. A leader is not about being smarter than everyone else, but about leading the team. And the team figured out what I could. I didn't have to be Superman.
Wonderful. What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Well, a certain amount of discipline is really important, right? We talked about that focus and that kind of thing, but then also some courage to try and do interesting things is the second piece. And then I think the last piece, so some courage also brings with it the humility, tackling big things, having some focus, and keeping a sense of humor or play is maybe the third thing, right? Remembering that business is really a game.
Business is really a game. Wonderful. We are about to get into a lightning round. That means quick
The lightning
question.
round.
Yeah,
Do I need a buzzer?
yeah. We are starting right now. What are you grateful for today?
Well, I'm grateful for the quality of my life. I have a beautiful home. I have a great family. I have a great work, great clients, right? I'm very, very blessed.
Mhm. How young are you?
I'm 56.
So, Bill, you are not 56. You are 18 with 38 years experience.
Thank you, sir.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I think I'm about as grown as I'm going to get. Hopefully, I keep getting younger now, and I keep doing more of the same kind of thing.
Wonderful. How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
I think the thing for me is to first not be afraid of the challenge or the emotion, the feelings, the response, right? We feel things in our body, we think things in our head. If I try to push it down, it just goes longer. If I lean into it, if I embrace both the challenge and the experience of the challenge, then I move through it more quickly. Winston Churchill is famous for saying something roughly like, if you're going through hell, don't stop, you know? And I think this is a really good quote.
How do you start your day?
That's a nice thing. For me, I start my day with a cup of coffee and a look out the window to the front yard of my home where I have a lot of trees. And I read the news and I make some notes and I talk with my wife. I have a really beautiful morning routine that stimulates my thinking, lets my mind awaken gradually, and starts to get me ready to attack and like be generous in the rest of the day. So it's a little more personal time in the morning.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
You know, I don't think there's not much that I would change. There's certainly mistakes I made along the way, but I think they're an important part of who I am today. But if there's one thing that I could say that I would tell my younger self and tell anybody else is enjoy now and now and now and now. Like appreciate each moment for what it is, each stage of life. You know, there's a certain magic and a beauty in each moment. And we're so busy trying to get to the next place, we don't often appreciate the moment in front of us.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
She's pretty supportive of whatever I want to try to do. I don't like bet everything on some new idea. I pursue them fairly carefully and test them out. And she can be pretty, she provides a good counterpoint to it, but I don't, it doesn't take much convincing.
What is the impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
Well, the most useful book that I've read is this book, Scaling Up. I applied it in the business, in my last business, and it really freed me up to go become a coach. Today, I'm a coach. I use Scaling Up. I'm the scaling coach. My podcast, like everything, is built around that work. So that's probably the most impactful book for me.
Why being impactful is important to you?
You know, if you think about the end of your life, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want people to say about you when you're dead and gone? That's all about a particular kind of impact. For me, it's about making a difference. It's not about how much money I made or how cool my toys were or things like that. It's about that legacy, that contribution. And I just want people to say that I was one of the good guys, that I was generous, that I made a difference for them, that I was a contribution. And so I just want to do as much of that as I can. And I suppose really from an ego standpoint, I don't want to say, well, I kind of did it halfway. I want to say, wow, I really give it all. Like whatever it was that I was doing, this being impactful, I did it full out.
Who is your mentor and what's the impact?
I don't have just one mentor. I have very many mentors and coaches over the years. One of my mentors, as I moved in and became the coach that I am today, the first one really was a guy by the name of Dean Jones, who's head of learning and talent development at Gallup organization. And so Dean probably was that first person that inspired me to become a coach and a leader in that regard, right? In that realm.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Well, I said, right? I want to be remembered for being someone who made a difference for the people around him.
Who is your ideal client?
Oh, that's interesting. So my ideal clients want to do 10x or better. They have huge growth goals. They want to dominate their category. They want to reach $1 billion in sales. They have some really big goal for whatever reason. And they are coachable. So they're willing to try new approaches on themselves. They're not going to argue with me about everything. And they have a style fit. So they have a sense of humor. They have a play. They don't mind the music that I play or that I'm standing on a skateboard right now. Like, all of these kinds of things are not, there's a match there for them. That's my client.
How can we support you?
Well, I think just increasing our exposure and voice wherever we can is really, really useful, right? Scalingcoach.com. There you go.
Yeah. It's a great looking website. You may want to check it out.
Thank you.
Yeah. We are about to wrap up. I'd like to ask a quick word about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is the question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
Well, for me as a guest, it's really easy, right? Easy. It's fun, playful, not hard. It's fast, right? You're using StreamYard.
What would you say as a final word?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bill, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.